up a massive army and just throw it against each other. It's been multi-pronged attacks, and no doubt PainUser has been taxed so hard that he just didn't notice his bottom right-hand corner expansion going down, as he's really been focused on holding on to this gold. And this Thor, it's going to come down to if the Thor can stay alive, but it looks like the Thor gets sniped. Now PainUser in a bit of trouble, but he does have a nice little infantry army, the siege tank going down as well. And PainUser manages to hold on yet again as he tries to establish this expansion for the second time today. Looks like Gretorp is still holding on pretty well here, and what he needs to do, I think, is slow push with his siege tanks and slowly push towards this command center. He can't really afford to try to bulk up right here because of the fact that it's hard to get siege tanks in position when PainUser can bring Thors or siege tanks of his own. He really needs to kind of slow push his way forward. And right here, Gretorp actually making another push yet again with all of his forces. And he's still trying to take out this planetary fortress. It's a very difficult task as a Terran player, but most of the blood and battle has occurred at this very location. I can't count how many generations of Marines, Marauders, Tanks, and Thors have died already, but both players really fighting for that territory because it's absolutely critical right now at this point in the game. The important thing to note is, however, PainUser is not aware of this expansion, to my knowledge. Yeah, he doesn't know that this is mining. Meanwhile, yet another Marauder strike force forcing this planetary fortress to lift off, as one SCV in the cargo bay as well. Gretorp also grabbing the gold over here at the 3 o'clock. So Gretorp now at one mining base. This one is mined out. He's got a ton of idle SCVs too. This one has been almost mined out. So he's about at 2 mining bases. He's about to get a third as well. PainUser, however, is only on the gold, which is now effectively run out. This one's about to run out as well. So now PainUser is starting to get a little bit starved out. He has lifted off and grabbed this one from this location, but I think he's worn out all of the gold from here just to defend the gold. So really, he's been using all of his resources to hold off attack after attack on this planetary fortress. But unfortunately, he hasn't been able to harass Gretorp's economy at all. So PainUser has been playing very defensively the entire game. We're finally actually seeing Gretorp get a couple of engineering bays for upgrades, which I think is a good idea, but Gretorp has been on the offensive all game, and I think the advantage still lies with him, as PainUser now is definitely starting to run low on money, 700 to 2,000 minerals per minute. Looks like PainUser is going to make a push in as he realizes he does need to make some damage happen here. Gretorp coming out with all of his SCVs off the line. That is a ton of SCVs. And if PainUser plays this right, he can definitely kill off a ton with some micros, as we saw right there. And PainUser actually might come out ahead of this battle, and he might be able to snipe off this command center as well. Both tanks going down, the entire infantry has been wiped out. About 4 or 3 Marauders left over, sniping off these missile turrets. And now the command center is starting to get worked. Is Gretorp going to allow this command center to fall? He really needs to repair it. No, he's going to run his SCVs away. Oh, I don't know if I agree with that decision. I think he could have lifted it off, he could have repaired it, but not run the SCVs almost into this this army right here as well. So he does lose his command center, and PainUser now thinking about re-grabbing this expansion, but unfortunately if he lands, he's going to be greeted by about 5 Marauders. Bam! Love the sound of those grenades. Look at this, Gretorp actually thinking about grabbing this bottom right-hand corner expansion. Unfortunately, territory has already been claimed. There's already a flag stake there with a big gun on it as well. And Gretorp, oh, there's even a missile turret. So Gretorp can't even land or lift off anywhere around this location, forced to fall back. This expansion actually almost getting taken out as PainUser lifted off just in time against those Marauders. He's going to have to bring some SCVs to repair that. And now it looks like Pain is focusing more on this Thor build. So he's got more Thors. He's really, both players have been using as the core of any Terran late game. It's all about Marauders. That's the core in TVT. It's one of the most powerful units, really, and we've seen that supplemented with Thors, with Siege Tanks, Vikings, Banshees, Ravens, you name it, it's been there. But it looks like Gretorp, or PainUser here, is going to go straight for this planetary fortress. Gretorp pulling a page out of Pain's book and throwing a planetary at the gold. Both Thors using their 250mm cannon, but there's a ton of SCVs repairing it. But finally the Marauders coming in, they are going to be able to take out this fortress. And that is exactly what Pain needs to do. He needs to stop this massive economy of Gretorp, who is now, by the way, at 136 supply. Both incomes starting to really dwindle down as the resources on the world are starting to get mined out. You guys can see that the army for PainUser is a slightly lower at 108 to Gretorp's 140. So I think Gretorp's definitely got the advantage here. But PainUser, he does have 3 mighty Thors, and if he brings these SCVs into battle, I think he might be able to take this army as well. Here we go. The SCVs are going to engage this massive army. 3 Thors in the background as well. They need to get a little bit closer. Oh no! Gretorp sniping out all of those SCVs, and the forces there were never really working at the same time. SCVs kind of went in there ahead of the big party, and they all died. So PainUser there really losing a huge count of SCVs. Even though the map is running low on resources, that's a big hit, because look at the SCV count, 55 to 17. And PainUser needs money right now. He's running really low, and if he's only got 17 SCVs, that means he's going to have to rebuild some more, especially for these 2 expansions down here. So I think that was a pretty big hit, losing all of his SCVs right there. He's definitely got some idle workers somewhere across the map. Look at this SCV, long distance mining. No more command center right there. SCVs over here finally moving away from their idle position to get to work. And right here, it looks like Gretorp is going to make a push, and he's going to try to end it right now. He knows if this expansion goes down, PainUser's in a lot of trouble. PainUser does have 3 Thors, but Thors do go down to combined Marauder Fire. SCV's coming off the line. I think they'd be better served repairing the Thors, but no, all the Thors going down there. Gretorp taking that battle firmly, and once again, PainUser forced to lift off. This expansion has been denied so many times by Gretorp. I think that is exactly what has kept Gretorp in this game, and I think that's exactly what is going to allow Gretorp to go ahead and cross the finish line for the win here. As PainUser finally realizes that there has been a base mining up here for about the last 20 minutes. And I mean, even though he's brought forces here to deal with all these SCVs, I don't think it matters, because this command center has more than paid off for itself. Now Marauders coming in to clean up the production facilities of PainUser, who is now at a measly 40 supply. Gretorp at 101 still has income mining in the bank. And I don't think that PainUser is going to be able to recover from this, actually pulling off what remains of his SCV count. As you guys see, his forces dramatically dwindling down to almost 30 now, below sub 30. And PainUser now is going to have to be forced to GG out of the Gosu Cup, and so, or Gosu Coaching Cup, excuse me. So that was definitely an interesting match between these 2 players. Absolutely epic. I'm not sure why PainUser hasn't GG'd yet, but this is only a best of 1. That is how the Gosu Coaching Cup final has been set up. Or excuse me, not final, round of 128 or whatever. But anyways, talking about other stuff, the HDH Invitational is going to be coming tomorrow at 1 p.m. PST. That is Friday 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as Saturday 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Husky and I will be casting 2 matches each. Tomorrow will feature 2 matches, and Saturday will feature 2 matches. And it's going to be pretty epic. It's going to be the round of 8. So hopefully you guys tune in. It is going to be, tomorrow's first cast is going to be on ustream.com, blah, 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 HD Starcraft. It's on my front page. So make sure you guys check that out. It's going to be an absolutely epic battle, as I'm just kind of waiting here for PainUser to finally call the GG. He's really only got this base mining, but in the end that doesn't mean much, because Gretorp is mining out of the gold still. He's mining out of this expansion still. He's actually lifting off another command center to go over here. So it doesn't really mean much for PainUser. Gretorp even stealing this expansion from PainUser as well. And PainUser floating over desperately realizes that, and there's really not much he can do. And PainUser calls GG, so that was an epic 40-minute Terran versus Terran battle here on Desert Oasis. Hope you guys enjoyed that game, and hopefully this holds you guys over until we release the VODs for the HDH Invitational. Thanks a lot, guys. HD signing up.